All right, midweek update time, and we're pivoting off yesterday's Jaden Daniels build and back onto a Dak-centric core for leverage and correlation after reviewing fresh ownership and matchup notes. Quarterback. We're moving to Dak Prescott at 6,500. Washington have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 23. Dak carries a dash rank of 100, and he's projected 20 with only about 7% ownership, which gives us strong leverage off the chalk we highlighted yesterday. He's averaging 22 fantasy points per game, with 34, 28, and 22 in his last three, so the projection is reliable for a 10th-year starter. Multiple Week 7 previews frame this slate as Jaden Daniels versus Dak Prescott and call Dak a name to watch. And there's a decade of Dak piece underscoring his stability. We liked Daniels yesterday for chalk in the absolute worst defense overall spot, but today we prefer the ownership discount and similar ceiling on Dak against a defense that remains a plus target. We are keeping Dylan Gabriel as our value quarterback at 4,400. Miami have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 29. He's projected 14 with about 2.5% ownership, and his last three are 0, 16, and 9. The projection remains fragile with a short runway as a starter, but the salary unlock is real. The news cycle backs the volatility and upside combo. He was promoted to starter in Week 4, has yet to notch his first NFL win, and he and Tua are set to make a quirky lefty versus lefty headline in Week 7. He's a tournament-only salary saver, same as yesterday. Running back. We're pivoting off Jerome Ford and onto Javonte Williams at 6,700. Washington have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 23. Javonte has a dash rank of 100, projects 16, averages 19 fantasy points per game, and he's drawing about 26% ownership, which signals strong field confidence in the role. The recent 30, 19, and 8 show volatility, but the Cowboys formally listed him as the starting running back, and he's been touted for a solid start to the 2025 season in national pieces. With Dak's salary manageable, we can afford Javonte's touch-driven ceiling in this game environment. Wide receiver, we're shifting from yesterday's George Pickens to Deebo Samuel Sr. at 6,200 as our bringback in Dak stacks. Dallas have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent rank 32. Deebo's dash rank is 100, projection is 16, and he's essentially unowned, which is ideal leverage in correlated builds. His last three of 20, 24, and 4 capture the boom-bust profile we want. He's listed as questionable, so we'll confirm inactives, but the news trail supports his current situation after the 49ers traded him, heading into 2025, making him a focal playmaker in Washington's offense. Tight end, we're moving off Jake Ferguson and onto Tucker Kraft at 4,900 to diversify away from overstacking Dallas. Arizona have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall by opponent rank 18. Kraft's dash rank is 100. He's projected 11 with around 9% ownership, and he's been steady with 12, 11, and 6 in his last three, averaging 13 on the season. The knee scare from earlier this year got a positive update per Ian Rappaport, and he's continued to be featured after a 2024 breakout. Price-adjusted stability plus moderate ownership fits this slate. At flex, we're moving back to Alvin Kamara at 5,900. Chicago have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 28. Kamara projects 14, averages 12 with a steady 13, 10, and 11 in his last three, and sits around 8% ownership. Trade rumors were shut down in recent reports, so the role security plus a soft overall matchup makes him a high-floor, moderate-ceiling piece to balance our Dak-Javonte-Deebo correlation. Defense, we're pivoting from the Chiefs to the Broncos at 3,500. The Giants have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 25. Projection is 8, and ownership is roughly 18%. In a slate with tight cap, we'll take the median-friendly projection and accept the popularity. Quick value check-ins we like for roster construction. Cavante Turpin at 3,500 pairs as a thin deck tournament punt. Washington have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 23. He averages 9 fantasy points per game. And while his last two show zeros, he flashed with a 60-yard punt return TD in Week 1 and signed a 3-year deal as the league's highest-paid special teamer. Gadget usage plus return equity make him a large field differentiator. Tommy Tremble at 2,900 is still a live punt. The Jets have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 27, and his last 3 of 15, 2 and 8 show spike week potential at sub 1% ownership. Marvin Mims Jr. at 3,500 is a boom-bust flex. The Giants have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 25. He's posted 21, 4 and 5 in his last 3, and he's been highlighted as a DFS sleeper, while the team keeps looking for ways to unlock his third-year leap. If you need a DST punt, the Giants at 2,200 Project 5, with about 3.5% ownership. Denver have a tough defense overall by opponent rank 11, so this is purely a salary release and leverage pivot off the popular Broncos in the same game. To summarize the changes versus yesterday's video, we're off Jaden Daniels and onto Dak for ownership leverage in a plus overall matchup that multiple Week 7 previews spotlight. We're upgrading RB to Javonte Williams for role-driven volume against one of the worst defenses overall. We're bringing back Dak stacks with Debo, contingent on inactives, to exploit Dallas's absolute worst defense overall rating. We're swapping Ferguson to Tucker Kraft to avoid overstacking Dallas and chase steady usage at a fair tag. We're sliding Flex to Kamara for stable volume and a soft overall matchup, and we're moving DST to the Broncos for a clean projection at a still manageable price. Drop your questions below. Let us know if you're rolling Dak double stacks with a Debo bringback or keeping it skinny with a Turpin dart, and we'll finalize after inactives hit.